Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. It's your boy, Will Fox, and he's getting freaky. Yo, what's up? This is Will Fox. Hey, what's up? This is Will Fox 125. I want to make a vlog video. I want to make videos besides just, my performance type videos. Anyways, this first video is just gonna be about how I got into playing piano and like how did I change over like my childhood to like pretty much now. The first time I ever touched an instrument was when I was like 6 years old. I'm just like a little kid, just like messing around, right? And I eventually like made like just a little song on the little keyboard, and my dad overhears it, and he's like, gets my mom. He's like, yo, like this is like our son can like do something like, and for my 7th birthday they bought me my first keyboard. But one cool thing about it was that it had a lot of pre-packaged songs on the keyboard, and I can like look at the notes and like learn how to play just random stuff like A Whole New World from like Aladdin, things like that. I didn't really know how to play with 2 hands quite yet, but I could at least like follow the notes. The reason why I say learn with quotes is because I wasn't quite learning stuff in like a proper way. I was kind of like just copying down what I saw, but I was able to like, it was enough for me to like learn how to play that and to like create my own stuff. And like, I went to church and stuff. Like people at church are like, oh, you're so gifted. At this point, like in my life, I'm not taking it seriously. And I remember specifically there was this one of my friends named Alex that was there. He eventually went on to like play for the choir. He's like, super good. He at least saw something in me, and he was like had like big expectations for me. And around this time, like Pokemon's coming out, like all these video games are coming out. I had my first Super Nintendo. My brother got Star Fox, and that was like my favorite game, and that's why I call myself Will Fox. Video games and like TV and all that stuff like just took over my life. And for like a couple of months, I just didn't give a crap about like playing stuff. I kind of did, I kind of didn't. I mean, I'd play stuff from video games and things like that too, but I wasn't really like practicing piano. I remember going back to church one day, a couple months later. Alex asked me like, hey, what new stuff did you learn, And I'm like, I don't know anything, And I remember he gave me like this really, really, really disappointed look. And it shook me. It hit me super hard. And I'm like, dang, dude, like I felt so bad for letting someone else down. So I kind of like, played a little bit more and made more stuff. I mean, eventually I just slipped back into like, my usual habits, I'd say I was still like very basic, playing piano, like I was able to play with like one hand, maybe some songs like I play with 2 hands, like, but I was around that stage where I didn't know what I was doing, but I was like able to like at least construct some stuff and kind of get some stuff going. And it wasn't until high school where I got my first girlfriend. We dated for a while, a couple months, and I got super attached to her. I'm in high school. I'm thinking like I'm in love with her and all this stuff. And eventually she broke up with me, and I was shook, because like you're like with someone for a long time and just gone like out of nowhere. Out of all the things that I was like going through, the hardest part around that time was every day at 7 o'clock she would call, to the point that it was just so like ingrained in my DNA at that point, where 7 o'clock would come around. I'm not even looking at a clock or anything. I can feel that at 7 o'clock because she always calls me at this time consistently, right? We would just talk on the phone all night. And after we broke up, I was still like kind of like trained in that way. Like I still had like an expectation, even though like my brain is like, she's not gonna call, but then my heart is like, oh, maybe she will, but obviously she never did. And it was just like so hard to get like myself back to like normal. And I remember like having all this emotion inside of me, and I felt like I needed to cry really, 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 really bad, but like it just was stuck. And I would just spend the nights just like staring at the ceiling, just like dead, just like staring at it for hours, just like straight up. I'm not even joking, dude. Eventually, I started to play more stuff, and the first song that it was like the first time that I like grew. The first song that I actually learned was the Kiss from a Rose, the that song. That was the first song that I learned, and after it took me so long to learn it too, because like no one, I learned completely on my own, and I did it by hearing, and all that comes with its own problems, by the way. But like, I was so, it was a bittersweet feeling when after weeks of like grinding and like learning how to play this one song, when I finally was able to do it, and I finally executed it, it was like a really weird feeling, because it was like throughout my life I kind of like needed other people to tell me that I was like doing a great job and stuff. It was the first time that I felt like I accomplished something really big, and I was like the only one there, like, you know, like no one else like noticed or anything, and like it was a pretty lonely feeling. But like it was such a weird feeling, because at the same time I kind of realized that, I mean, after we broke up, my gut reaction was to just date another girl or try to win her back or some shit like that, or something like that. Try not to sweat. And but I just couldn't bring myself to do it, because it's like, one, I went to a super ghetto school, and like all these girls in my school, like they hated me. They all hated me. They were like, oh, look at that guy. Like, you know, like they would all call me ugly. They call me weird. All this stuff. They say I'm too goofy. Things like that. All this stuff. And like, I'm like not interested in anyone. And like, there were some here and there, but long story short, I was like, I don't want to like go through all that all over again. It just sucked, because like, when, I'm not saying dating's bad. I wouldn't say that. But I'm saying like, in that instance, it sucks because I, what's the word? Invested so much time into something, and all of a sudden it was just taken from under me, and all that time invested was just wasted. I mean, yeah, I learned a lot, you know, but like, it was just gone. After I finished learning like Kiss from a Rose song, like in that moment of feeling like there's no one here, like why did I do this? Like that lonely feeling. I also realized that no one can take that away from me. That won't happen again, at least, you know? Like no one's gonna just go like, no, you just can't play. Like, you know? So I like, that made me happy, and I kept learning more stuff. And I mean, I focused on like just learning stuff from video games and things like that. But at this point, I still didn't really know what I was doing. To others that are like just starting to play piano, a bit of warning is like learning on your own, and I wish that I knew this, is that you could develop bad habits because there's no one there to like tell you that like there's a better way of doing this, or you're actually doing this, you're getting this wrong, you're getting too, like, I don't know, I didn't know the theoretical. I hated music theory. I didn't even know music theory was a thing. I didn't realize there was a logic behind music. I didn't have anyone to tell me that. But I mean, I did try taking lessons as like a kid, and I like it didn't go well. I don't want to exaggerate it, but it just didn't go well. I wish that I had like just a pinch of guidance. It would have helped, because the problem was that I learned things by ear, and I also learned by like looking at other stuff, or looking at Synthesia. And Synthesia is cool because, you know, you see all the notes and it's telling you what to play and when to play it. And I would just like, you know, go on YouTube and just be like, oh, look at the song. Oh, they did this. You know, that's how I learned a lot of stuff. It's not a great way of playing. It's a good way to like, it's a good short-term way of playing. And I didn't know the concept of like a key sitter. I wish that I just knew like a little bit of something, just a little bit. Because I didn't learn all this stuff until actually a year ago. Like very recently. And it's like, holy shit, like learning music from like a theoretical angle, once you learn it, you can learn so much quicker. You can play with other people so much quicker. It's actually insane. It's like, dude, this is like broken at this point. Like, but I'm glad that I went through, like, you know, learning the hard way and like grinding everything out. It just, things would have stuck a lot more. So everything that I learned around that age, around like 15, 16, was purely muscle memory. I would just know how to play a song, and I would just know what it felt like to do everything. I didn't, it was like my hands were just playing. It wasn't me playing, it was just my hands were just doing it, And that's not a good thing, because muscle memory is very limited. For one, you'll never be able to really improvise. I mean, maybe a little, and maybe you could get back into it. But if you like slip up, it's really difficult to like get back into the groove of what you were doing, because all of a sudden your hand or your mind is just in a different place. Also, while you're playing with muscle memory, you could be like daydreaming about all this other stuff, and you're not really engaged with what you're doing. Another thing is you're not able to transpose, because all of a sudden all the notes are totally different. Just things like that. Also, muscle memory can just straight up betray you. Like, if you're under pressure, all of a sudden, like, the easy, like, I could do this while, like, thinking about other stuff, that easy, like, feeling is just not there. You're vulnerable to just choking, and, like, if you're performing, which has happened to me. I've, like, just completely, like, screwed things up because I used muscle memory as a crutch, and I didn't really know what I was doing. So, long story short, actually, that brings me to my next point, is that I want to also make other videos, kind of, basically advice videos for things that I wish I knew at certain stages of me developing my ability to play piano. And, I don't want to make too many, like theory type videos, but it might devolve into that. But, anyways, back on track. There would be times where I would meet other musicians, and I would try to play with them, but what I was able to do was very, like, narrow, because I could only play what I know how to play, And, like, I could only kind of try to get things to, like, sound good, and I would definitely know when I played something wrong, but I just felt so limited. I was so bad at, like, improvising, And I hated improvising, to the point that I, like, kind of rejected it. I'm like, improvising is stupid. Like, it was a good exercise, because it just helped me develop, like it worked another part of my brain. It's the best way I can put it, that like made me think on the spot and think, like, be more engaged with what I'm doing, and like applying like an idea as quickly as possible. It like helped me with that. So long story short, every time I kind of got stuck in like playing music and getting somewhere, it kind of took like my ass getting hit like really hard for me to go like, oh, you know what, I should be doing this. Like, it's such a stubborn way like that my brain works. It's like, until I'm like just like, until it gets smacked, I kind of don't like, I don't evolve, like, So actually, that about wraps up what I'm gonna say for this video. So my plan for this channel in general is that I want to make 3 videos a week. One of them will be, the performance type stuff, where I put all this effort into like remixing a song with like piano and mixing it with like some video game sound. The other 2 videos will be a vlog, kind of like this, and another one is I want to start a series going over like some very light concepts and like very light advice. I don't like having too much stuff, but I don't really have a great direction to go with that, actually. If other people are trying to get into piano, let me know like what would help, because like I feel that I can at least shed some light on like things that I wish I knew. I have my roommate Rob at sirlionheart.com. My roommate Rob, he's like starting to like mess around with piano, and some of my other friends are like kind of messing around too. And I don't have a great way of conveying like these ideas, and I'm like, I hate the idea of like bearing down and like telling someone like, here's this. I've seen videos like that, and I'm like, oh man, like so many of these concepts make sense when you understand the concept. you gotta look at it from like the perspective of I don't understand the concept. Like this is like, you know, like a lot of tutorials just tend to be that way, where it's like these tutorials make so much sense. A lot of school is that way too. I strongly suggest that people like ask me stuff, and it'll help me direct like that mini series to help other people like get better at piano. I was like, what's the last word? So that wraps it up. Thank you. I don't know what else to do with music, so it's kind of like I don't know what else to do. This is why I'm here. So thanks, and please, feedback helps. Thank you.